And so we just figured, you know what? You're one of the old timers. You might have some good stories for us, if you don't mind, because these are my friends Jeff and Darby.
Yeah.
And we're doing a documentary. So if you don't mind, we'd like to just tape you and just tell whatever you know about Pond Island. And
Well, I don't know a hell of a lot. All I know is what I've been told.
okay,
Pond Island's not very exciting, you know.
it's not.
No.
No, why do you say that?
Well, I don't. You talk about a pirate treasure. I don't think they never found a treasure on Pond Island.
So it hasn't been found yet.
But there used to be an old hermit lived over there, named John Dowling.
Okay.
Did they tell you about him?
Well, a little bit. What do you know about him?
Well, I know that the outsiders told stories about him that wasn't true.
Oh, really? What'd they say?
Oh, they said he was an old hermit that they drove off of the town, got tired of feeding him, so they put him off on Pond Island, you know, which wasn't true.
Oh, what was
true? Well, he was about a half bubble off plum, you know. He didn't know much, but he was a big man. I can tell you stories about him because my father used to tell me stories about him.
So your father knew him?
Yep.
Really?
And over here on the point, over the Princess, they used to buy fish. And John, he had a big dory. You know what a dory is?
Of course.
And he'd row ashore, 16-foot dory. And he'd come over here and work. And they used to have boats come in here with salt and stuff, you know, to salt the fish down.
Sure.
And he used to help unload the boats and load the fish and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And he would take his dory from where? Pond Island over to
Pond Island, yeah.
So he did live out there.
Oh yeah. And if you was out there now, it was just a shack. And there's the frame of the underpinning that was up there, you know, the rocks that he piled around.
Yeah, yeah.
But he had a family, he had kids. His wife come ashore, I don't know if she was sick or what, but they lived over here in the house on the shore. But he stayed out there and they found him, I guess he died there. But now the next island over, Ragged Island.
Yeah, yeah.
Where Edna St. Vincent Millay lived.
Oh, okay.
And when I was a kid, back in the 30s, my father, they hired him one winter to build a house over there for him. And they used to go over and stay for a whole week. The first game warden we had here in town, Jim Thurston, had a boat, you know, and he'd check the lobster catch.
Yeah.
So he'd take them over. They hired him to take them over, and they left them on the island there all week. And then they'd bring them home on Sunday. And if they had any food left or anything, they used to stop there on the island and give it to John.
John.
John down. My father said he went in there one time to take stuff up to him. John was cooking a chicken. Had him in the pot, guts, feathers, and the works. He said the 2 feet sticking up out of the pot. Boil of that damn hen, he didn't even take the feathers off.
Oh my gosh.
But he was a big, according to my father. And years ago, before we got invaded with these damned outsiders, we was one big family on these islands. And over here in the head of Lowell's Cove, they used to, in the wintertime, they'd haul their boats all up.
Yeah, yeah.
And a gang of men would get to the boat and walk them up the beach, you know, because they weren't very big boats. And my father said they'd hook old John on the bow, you know, with a rope, and he'd be in a kid, they'd jump in and ride up the beach on the. And then when it comes spring again, they put rollers down, you know, and they'd roll them up.
Right. Yeah.
And when they come spring again, he said they'd roll them back down. And he always come ashore in that old dory. And no matter what the tide was, if the tide was down, he'd haul it up the beach.
Yeah.
Of course, the tide was up, then he was all set. But if it was down, he'd haul it back down the beach again. But Now I know about him.